What's up YouTube? Drew here. In tonight's video I am going to talk a little bit about fishing for grouper off of the SKYWAY fishing piers. It's something anyone can do. You don't have to have thousands of dollars to go offshore to target keeper grouper. During the winter time, you're going to get a lot of the bigger gag grouper that come up closer to the SKYWAY. But year-round, there are keeper gag grouper that hang out all over that SKYWAY pier. There's a bunch of old rubble that has been distributed pretty evenly amongst the South Pier and the North Pier. You can really figure out where the rock piles are by looking at the pilings that are between the actual bridges. The pilings that have a cross in them, usually directly out towards the Gulf and directly this way in towards Tampa Bay, there are going to be rock piles on both sides of those spans. You're going to want to fish towards the Gulf side. You're going to want to catch an outgoing tide to fish the Gulf side. You're going to want to catch an incoming tide to fish the bay side of these piers. The North Pier is a little bit closer to the main channel, and it is a little bit deeper on the North Pier. But the South Pier goes way farther than the North Pier does. It's going to cost you $4 to get on to the SKYWAY Pier for your vehicle, and it's also going to cost you another $4 per person that you have in your vehicle. I know this is a little steep. You're looking at $8 basically if you go by yourself. But the cool thing about the SKYWAY is you don't have to buy bait. And when I say you don't have to buy bait to target these grouper, you are going to need a sabiki rig. I like to use size 6. This is a size 8. And you can tie this on to almost any rod that you have. Drop it right next down to the bridge, and you're gonna catch pinfish, grunts, thread fins, greenbacks, all depending on the size of the sabiki that you use. And those are all really good bait for a grouper. The second one that I have here is, if you don't have a sabiki rig, you can literally create a small little pinfish rig that has 2 hooks on it, and you put a little piece of shrimp on each of these hooks, drop it down with a weight, and the pinfish will crush this, and you can use the pinfish as bait. What you're going to want to do, pinfish, thread fins, I like to free line them. I usually either hook them through like the nose, the upper lip, or I like to hook them from the bottom underneath the anal fin. I'll show you the rig that I use for the grouper. I use, this is a 8000. This is a Penn Fierce number 2. And it is matched up on the Penn Fierce heavy graphite rod. This is 3/4 to 2.5 ounce lure, 15 to 30 pound mono, and 20 to 50 pound braid. Clear water, I will use 40 pound braid and 60 pound fluorocarbon leader. And then for stained water, I will use usually about 60 pound braid and 80 pound monofilament leader on a 4 to 6/0 circle hook. And all you do is you hook your bait on this thing right here, throw it out towards those rock piles, and free line it. And when these grouper hit it, they destroy it. So you want to make sure that you have your drag on the top here. You want to make sure you have that nice and tight, because you want to pull these grouper out of their holes before they rock you up. That is just half of the battle, because the other half of the battle is getting the grouper up onto the pier. And I've watched a lot of people have keeper grouper and they try to swing it up onto the pier, and as they're swinging the grouper up onto the pier, their line snaps and the grouper falls back into the water, oftentimes with the hook still in its mouth, terminal tackle still attached to the fish, and whether or not it was a keeper fish or a non-keeper fish, this is not good for conservation. So I always use a bridge net. And I mean, this is a big net. I'm not the smallest guy. This is a big net. It has about 75 yards worth of rope on it. It's got a couple of floats. Here. And then basically what you do is you drop that down into the water, you pull your grouper over the top of it, and then you lift this out of the water up onto the pier. It's a lot easier for the fish. It's gonna save you, if you only get a hold of one keeper grouper per year, and you try to swing that thing onto the pier and you snap it in half, you're not catching that grouper. This thing I actually bought at the SKYWAY. I do believe it was like $60 from their gift shop. Bait shop, not gift shop. But you can get these online, eBay, Amazon, used. You can find these things. But this is going to be one of the items that you're really, really going to want. Like I said, size 8,000. Pen Fierce number 2. You could go with like a 6500 Daiwa BG, a slammer, anything like that, anything that has over 25 pounds of drag, you should be able to pull these grouper out of their holes. Grouper is not open right now. It closed on December 1st. But this is when there are a lot of big gag grouper out at the SKYWAY. And you're also going to have a chance at catching red grouper that are actually open year round. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, please subscribe down here and hit the thumbs up button right down here. Give me a like. And I'll keep giving you guys information. You guys have a good one. Take care.